I started studying my mind a whole bunch while growing up, facing these things. Don't listen to anybody's dialogue but your own. They're tired, they're not you. So it's just all about, your mind has a tactical advantage over you at all times. It knows your weaknesses, it knows your strengths, and it will guide you into your nice comfort zone. We have to reprogram our mind to get a different vantage point so then you know how to be in charge of yourself versus your mind being in charge of you. What makes it hard to get better? Let's say you are an alcoholic. You hang around people who drink. And let's say you want to stop drinking. Those people want to bring you back in. Like, I used to be this guy who wasn't worth anything. Now those people who are still there, they're 16, 17, 18, 30 years ago, they're trying to get you back there. So the hardest part, you gotta see who you're hanging out with, man. You gotta hang out with the people who you want to be like the most. Why are you doing that today, man?
Yeah.
Why are you getting up again so early? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? The people you're hanging around with will suck the life out of you. Sometimes you just gotta be alone, man. People don't want to go in deep, man. All the answers are inside of you. It's a very primitive way. It's very barbarian. It's how we all think. It's how man once walked the earth. And then we get all soft and all these computers and we start going away from the most powerful thing we have is our brain, is our mind. And we don't use it anymore. Everything has to be so quick. No one wants to fight a person that just keeps coming after you. Every time you knock them down, they don't look at it as being knocked down. They have a whole different way of looking at that. That's a scary person. You don't want to fight that person. So that's how I looked at my pull-up records, and I failed everything at least 3 to 4 times. My whole life, I never passed anything once. Ever in my life have I gone through and been the first time at anything. Ever. But that's what gave me that book. Is the people in my life who were in my life when I was bad, they're still out there. They want to take me back there. They're mad that I'm here. They want to still make me out to be what I was. They don't like the fact that they're still where they're at. They hate that. On the journey, there's always be that motherfucker in the sewer you came from that's grabbing at your ankle as you're leaving that sewer. That's want to drag you right back down because you figured it out. They're not willing to figure it out. There's not much to figure out. The only thing to figure out is this. And everybody has a different equation. My equation is different than yours. My equation was very different than most people's. And it's not about being sadistic. It was just about that right there was kind of like the moment of my life where I realized, I don't like to say that I've arrived, because you never want to have that I've arrived mentality because you stop. But that was the moment that I realized that I was the truth. Most people who are failing are trying their ass off. Most people who are failing are being criticized by people who haven't attempted what you're even trying to fail at. I did 2,500 pull-ups my first time going for the record. You know how many people were criticizing me? Look at your audience who's criticizing you, first of all.
Yep.
They're not even in your world. Don't even talk to me. Block them out. That's the first thing. The second thing is, through failure, you get all the answers. They're all there. So I was able to go back through and say, okay, this happened, this was wrong, this was wrong, this was wrong. So I don't even look at failure like, I don't even call it failure. I don't, because I don't look at it like, my God, I failed. No, I look at, okay, like trying to invent the light bulb. What's failure? I'm trying to invent a light bulb. I'm trying to break 4,020 pull-ups. That's failure? Anything you do along that way is amazing. That's how you gotta look at failure. You gotta look at it very differently. I'm not going anywhere. I wanna sit here and enjoy this pain. And I know the listeners hearing this are gonna say, man, you're a nut. No, I'm not. What I got a chance to experience in that 19 hours and 6 minutes of my life was something I didn't want any painkillers. This was proof positive. What I was feeling is what I just did. I did something without training, without coaching, without a cheering staff, without any knowledge. I took a raw human being with no training whatsoever, put him out in a condition, and just through this alone, got through it. And I sat there and I was like, it was the best feeling I've ever had and will ever have in my entire, I was in the worst pain in my life, and it was the best feeling I ever had in my life. Not because of the pain I was in, but the pain was confirmation of, my God, did I just do that? And I had completed hell weeks, but that right there was like, don't take this from me. And it was confirmation, proof positive that this young kid that lied and cheated I was now the truth. I was now the truth. I was a Navy SEAL. I went through Army Ranger School as honor man. I went through all this. I was truth. I became truth. There was no more lie. You cannot look at it as failure. Even though you didn't get what you wanted, all you're doing is examining ways to become successful at this particular thing. You're trying to master something. It's not failure. You're trying to become the master of a particular thing. It's not failing. Whenever you're trying to master something, there's a process. I'm Goggins. What makes me is the dungeon. And and people are, well, you don't have any peace in your life. Don't get it twisted. Weak people who hear me get all poopy pants about how I talk. So be it. What changed me was I had to be hard on myself. And I have to continue to grind myself into a fine dust. Period. That's where I feel good. I feel like I accomplished something. If things come easy, it's not fun. I must fail at something repeatedly. It has to haunt me. And then once I complete it, I feel like I accomplished something. I don't want to set out and say, oh, there's an A, we're good. Stupid. No, I want to turn it in a million times and say you failed. You failed. And I'll say, okay, roger that. And sit there and analyze what I'm doing wrong. Go to these places that people don't go to anymore because all this social media and everything's computerized. I want to go to that dark place in my mind and say, okay, how are we going to get this done? This guy stopped me at a stoplight. He was like, hey, Goggins, why am I not getting better? I'm a big time goal setter. I run half Ironman. I run half marathons. I go for that new promotion at work. Why am I not getting better? I asked him a question. Do you have fear of not reaching those goals? He said, no. Okay, that's your problem. You're setting goals you know you can reach. And when you do that, that fear, that insecurity, that doubt, that's where you grow. He's not getting that. You must always set goals that you think you cannot achieve. And then there you get better. Stay hard.